Greetings, lovely viewers. Once again, we bring you another tale of the supernatural brought to us from our friends in Equestria. We all know of the police's offenses back at Nightmare Nights, of what I did during my first appearance. But what do we know of Rarity? Of the young fashionista who makes her job creating clothes? Oh, sure, you have heard rumors of the deleted scene, but in fact, there was a story that I created, one that features doors and hauntings. Presenting by Saddelsoapopera, I bring you a tale I like to call Nightmare After Nightmare Night. And even if my star-swirled bearded costume didn't go over, this still turned out to be the best nightmare night ever. Tony Sparkle smiled proudly, then turned at the sound of an electrical crack and a hoarse shriek from above and behind her. The bells on her arcane rose jingled softly. Rainbow Dash was streaking away through the sky, followed by a rainbow contrail and puffs of smoke from her lightning-struck rump. A moment later, Princess Luna hovered down on a dark storm cloud, wearing a mischievous smile. She winked. The two ponies and Spike broke into a fit of giggles. "We thank thee for thy sage advice, Twilight Sparkle," said Luna, once he got her laughter under control. "It has pleased us greatly to meet thee and thy fine friends under more positive circumstances." The princess paused, her brow furrowing. "But hold! The straw pony, the fowl, the trickster, and gentle Fluttershy." Luna frowned. "What is the last of thy companions?" "Oh, you mean Rarity?" Tiny Sparkle put a pensive foot to her beard-clad chin. "Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her all night." A look of worry passed over Luna's features. "Perhaps our earlier displays frightened her into hiding." "No way!" Spike said adamantly. "Rarity would never pass up a night when every pony shows off their costumes just because the return of Nightmare Moon." Twilight shot Spike a glittering glance. He chuckled nervously. I mean, Princess Luna. She's way too professional for that." He sighed darkly. "And also talented, beautiful, graceful." Spike tugged at the collar of his dragon costume, letting out a small whistle of steam. Luna raised an eyebrow at the baby dragon before turning back to face Twilight. "Well, if she is intended to be present at tonight's festivities, some unwelcome vicissitudes may have befallen her. We should peruse this debacle forthwith." "I concur," agreed Twilight firmly. "What?" Spike grazed the side of his head with a claw. "We're going to find Rarity, make sure she's okay," replied Twilight. "Oh, gotcha." Rarity cautiously crept down the winding dirt path into the Everfree, following the urgings of her glowing horn. She wore a few jeweled accessories, but she left the bulk of her oh-so-very nearly complete costume back at the boutique. "Of all the nights to run out of black opals," she muttered under her breath. "Come on, Magic! Mummy needs a new pair of gem-studded shoes." All at once, the glow around Rarity's horn intensified. She almost stumbled as her gem-detection spell pulled her forward with new vigor. She cried out in surprise, as the spell propelled her through a barrier of thorny thorns, over a puddle and down a low hill. She groaned dizzily as she spat out a few leaves and twigs. She had some on the rest of her belly, with her front hooves pressed up against a wide, flat rock. No, not a rock. Verity gasped. Sitting before her, half buried in the soft earth, was an absolutely massive opal. The round, flat gem was as easily as wide as she was tall. It was a deep midnight blue, marked with a flashy streak of golden yellow. "Oh my goodness!" she exclaimed. "Pack your bags, you magnificent mineral model! You're coming home with me." Rarity stood up, fixed her stance and ignited her horn. The pale blue glow of her magic spread to the opal, but instead of lifting into the air, the stone simply began to hum. The low, thrumming vibration grew, until Rarity could feel it through her hose. "Come on!" she grunted through clenched teeth. "Up you get!" Sweat beaded down her forehead. Rarity poured Mount Magic into the stone, but it still wouldn't budge. However, the brighter light illuminated the ring of trees surrounding the opal. Rarity stopped trying to lift the gem and stared. Each tree had been fitted with a strangely shaped door. One looked like a fish, with the upper body of some sort of hairless ape. Another was shaped like a clownish rabbit's smiling face. Another was displayed with a repulsive giant insect and a red bullseye painted over it. There were dozens of trees and dozens of doors, all facing the blue and yellow stone. "What is this?" Verity whispered under her breath. No sooner had she spoken than she heard a soft creak behind her. She turned and saw that a door shaped like a pumpkin with an evil smiling face was now ajar. The sliver of shadowy abyss visible beyond the orange-stained wood beyond suggested far greater depth than the tree would accommodate. Rarity backed away from the open door, suddenly filled with an eerie chill. A rear hoof touched the elbow's smooth surface, and Rarity bit her lower lip. Was she really ready to part with a stem that size of a dining table just because of a creepy feeling? In answer to the unspoken question, she turned to face the elbow and reignited her horn. As she pursued pouring magic into the massive dome, a chill wind escaped from the pumpkin door, bringing with it a few dead leaves and the scents of damp earth, wood smoke, and sugary spice. Rarity pointedly ignored it. A few moments and a great deal of magic later, the wind had grown strong enough to whistle between the trees and stir the white unicorn's coiling purple locks. Rarity continued to focus on the task at hand. With mere seconds left before the huge stone would pull free, or so she was fairly certain, Rarity felt her hooves leap the ground as the wind swirled fiercely around her and lifted her upward. She yelped in fright and galloped in midair. "Yeek! All right, I get it!" she pleaded. "You can get the upper. Let's put me down!" Before Rarity could finish her entry, the wind sucked back to the now wide-open door and hurled her down into the darkness inside. Her cry echoed hellily as she fell. A wild inward gust pulled the pumpkin door shut with a soft click, leaving the woods dim, still, and silent. The full moon hung in the bleak black sky like the back of a vast skull caressed by the spiry fingers of an ominous gray cloud. A chill wind played across the fields of a sickly, monochromatic grass, whistled between the rusty bars of the black iron gates and fences, stirred up bone dust from the yawning mouths of open graves. In the distance, a lone werewolf howled. "Arrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr kind of a little bit broke ever since the last story. In other words, it was a nice night out. Jack Skellington strode down the winding packed earth leading out of Halloween Town, with his bony hands clasped behind his back, and a pensive expression on his skull. As the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, the burden of leading the planning of each year's Halloween festivities fell squarely on Jack's shoulder bones, and a great many good things had come into the young life as of late, not the least of which, the love of a certain caring and pretty rag doll, and the demise of a particularly noxious and unpleasant foe. Jack felt like expressing his research at Joy de Mimula with a phantasmagorical extravaganza for Halloween this coming year. And so he walked, taking in the delightfully creepy atmosphere of Halloween Town by night, waiting for inspiration to strike. He watched for a long time, mulling over decorations, tricks, treats, costumes, too lost in his thought to even think about it. When he finally took stock of his surroundings, he realized two things. It was nearly morning, and he had no idea where he was. He had wandered into the hinterlands once again, into an old-growth wood not unlike the one which held the mysterious trees bearing the doorways leading to the other holiday towns. But he had deliberately walked out of town in the opposite direction from that strange place this time. He walked between the leafless, rough-barked trees, searching for a landmark or a sign of something familiar. Soon enough he did come across a landmark. A familiar-seeming one at that, but it was also new. A ring of mighty trees towered around an ancient pale gray stone disk, sunk into the rich dark soil, their roots reaching toward it like spokes around the hub of a giant wheel. Each tree bore a stylized door, but Jack didn't recognize their shapes. He approached, seized by the same curiosity that once led him to visit Christmas Town. "I could take a look," he mused. "No holiday misappropriation this time, of course. I've learned my lesson. But surely a tiny peek just through one door couldn't hurt." One door was a sharp-angled, crested face in red. It seemed stern, yet somehow mechanical. "I've had my fill of toys for now." Jack moved on. Another was a giant, rounded paw print, as though a fast puppy had just playfully pounded an ink-covered paw into the tree. Intriguing, but Jack Strong kept browsing. Yet another was a red and white striped shield, offset center silver star, and covered by assault rifles. Jack shuddered at the memory of anti-aircraft fire blasting his reindeer skeletons drawn sleigh. Definitely not. Something colorful caught Jack's attention out of the corner of his eye socket. He turned and gasped. The tree was more vivid and lively than its fellows. The few leaves it bore were still even green, and its door was a thin, bright pink arc, not unlike the Omega symbol often carved into headstones. A fastidiously colored memento mori. Perfect! Jack grinned and moved to reach for the door's knob. But as he did so, the door snapped open by itself and disgorged a streaking blur of purple and white. Jack managed to say, "What?" before he took the full brunt of the impact squarely in his ribcage. It's a My Little Pony and Nightmare Before Christmas crossover. I love this fandom. I really do. I love it! Rarity stirred into consciousness and dazedly got to her hooves. A quick glance suggested she was probably still in the everfree forest. The ominous trees, foreboding gray skies, and bone-strewn soil told her that much. But she didn't recognize a single landmark. Even worse, the sun was still in the sky, which meant she missed the entire nightmare night. Worst of all, some pony had abandoned a perfectly fine tuxedo on the filthy forest floor. Well, even if I missed the festival, the least I could do is stop some pony else from committing a crime against fashion. She sighed in dismay and knifed out the pinstripe black tailcoat and trousers. She dusted out the formal wear and slung it over her bag for safekeeping. Now, what in Celestia's name am I? While Rarity parted the question, the bleached bones on the ground began to twitch, then shift, then slowly roll toward her. I don't see Catalan anywhere in the distance, she mused. Maybe I'm on the far side of the forest. Still lost in thought, Rarity failed to notice the bones silently converging behind her and slithering up into the empty clothing. It wasn't until an elongated, black-clad arm reached past her head and picked up a smooth, round skull from the ground in front of her that Rarity came to a paralyzing realization that she was not alone in the clearing. A tall, spidery, skeletal creature in funerary finery was now crouching over her and behind her like a bone gargoyle. "Hello," said the skeleton as he popped the skull back onto his head and neck bones. "I'm Jack Skellington, Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, and you all." Rarity slowly turned and backed away with a few paces with an even and dignified gait. Then she firmly planted her hooves, filled her hose as deeply as she could, and released a piercing scream loud enough to scare the crows out of trees. "Eek! Wait," he said after several seconds, cutting the tail end of her cheek. "Did you say king?" Twilight Sparkle, Princess Luna, and Spike stopped at the edge of the path to the Everfree. Bells in Twilight's costume jingled softly as he halted. "Spike, are you sure this is where Rarity went?" asked Twilight. "See, isn't exactly fond of this place." "No doubt about it," Spike replied. "I know those hoof prints anywhere." He lively cradled his tail between his claws, underneath the fabric of his costume. The tip of his tail still bore a faint imprint for repeated stomping. Twilight saw. "Well, okay then, let's go." Twilight and Luna kept pace with Spike as he resumed to tracking the unicorn he so adored. The Everfree Forest by Nightmare and Night was even more foreboding and ominous than usual. Every shadow seemed to hold a pair of watching eyes, and every sound suggested pursuit by some nameless horror. Spike stayed focused on following Rarity's trail. When Twilight was free to enjoy the carnival of her dread, her imagination was apparently more than eager to unleash. The sudden pronouncement of the princess did not help. "Be not afeard, Twilight Sparkle!" Luna boomed. "Thou hast our confidence this night, and no creature of darkness would dare insult us by seeking to harm thee!" She focused her blazing white eyes on the robed unicorn before her as the echoes of her declaration and the crash of thunder accompanying it faded. "Wilt thou not believe?" "Oh, yes, Luna," Twilight managed between gasping breaths. "I feel so much better now." She forced a smile. "Splendid! We hence!" The trio proceeded silently for some time, until they came to a gentle grade. At the bottom of the hill, a huge blue and yellow gemstone in the middle of a course of trees shone in the moonlight. Ah! Now I get it! Twilight said dryly. A careful trip down the hill later, the alicorn, the future alicorn, and dragon began searching around the massive gem for any sign of their missing friend. They eyed their various door trees warily. Hey, look! Spike was straining to reach a necklace dangling from a pumpkin tree-shaped door. This is Rarity's! I know it! Rarity's inside that tree? Twilight asked doubtfully. Okay, let's take a look. She approached the tree and ignited her horn. Beware, Twilight! Do not draw near! Those trees are more than they appear! Twilight yelped in fright and turned to face Sakura, who was trying into the strange groves of trees on the far side. Why is every pony shouting at me tonight? The zebra brushed a lock of spire-decorated mane out of her eyes and bowed apologies. I did not mean to startle you, only stop you from going through. Twilight raised an eyebrow. Going through? Yes, Twilight, as I said before. There is more than tree behind each door. It was a bridge through time and space, connecting to a far-off place. Thy friend has traveled to another world, Kilometers! Luna exclaimed. We must follow her at once and bring her back to Equestria. Totally, said a voice from behind Sakura. Another world? This sounds like a blast. Rainbow Dash hovered to view. She was still wearing her crudely stitched Shadowbolt uniform. Now I know about that, added Applejack, as she tried not to join her Pegasus friend. Well, Rarity's got herself in a bind. I'll do my best to help her. A barely audible squeak and a hint of a pink mane peeking out from one side of the trees gave away Fluttershy's presence. Maybe if we wait for her, she'll come back on her own. Twilight Sparkle scrunched in confusion. What are you all doing in the middle of the Everfree Forest? I landed here at the Lunazatmi, Rainbow Dash said. Good one, Princess. She chuckled and held out a hope for her to high shoe. The princess smiled cheerfully and left Rainbow hanging. In a long awkward moment, Spike gambled over and selected Pegasus hoof himself. Dash nodded approvingly. Fluttershy peered out from her hiding place. Sakura said I could hide in her hut until the celebration was over. The Pegasus pointed a hoof back the way Rainbow Dash had come. Sakura's rustic home was just visible in the shadowy depths of the Everfree. Applejack dusted off her scarecrow outfit with a front hoof. I came to bring Fluttershy, I came to the apple, don't you know? The reasons matter now, noted Luna. You are here, and you're all welcome to accompany us on this journey. Adventures such as this call for a full party of regard! Did somebody say pie? Twilight Sparkle nearly jumped out of her robes as Pinkie Pie, still in her full chicken costume, leapt out from behind the trees. But Pinkie, what? The pink Earth Pony grinned. Oh, I was just in the neighborhood, pecking a thing, scratching a dirt, and not trying to figure out how to safely gather poison oak for an awesome prank. Hello. Her eyes started to and fro, smile brimming with folk innocence. Twilight straightened her hand beard. Okay. Princess Luna is still right. With a larger group, we should be able to find Rarity sooner. We'll be back in no time. Twilight turned to face the pumpkin door, but Sakura galloped over, suing away. The zebra held up a warning hoof. Yusufune Hio! You mustn't go, for you may lack a way of coming safely back. What do you mean? Sakura gestured wildly at the strange trees. The ways beyond are mostly sealed. The right conditions make them yield. She nodded at the pumpkin door. Only on any nightmare night can one open this door of flight. Spike's eyes widened. But the night's almost over. We don't have much time. The little dragon scampered past Sakura and tried to hop high enough to reach the door's triangle handle. Not so! Luna bellowed in a roll candlelight voice. Dost thou forget who we are? The night does not end until we permit it! The alicorn spread her wings and cast her gaze skyward. Her horn glowed and the moon jerked from the horizon back into the middle of the night sky. Luna smiled proudly. There! Sally forth, brave ponies! We shall venture to Ponyville in the meantime, and assure that Nightmare Night continues until your return. Twilight looked up at the re-risen moon dubiously. Princess, are you sure this is a good idea, after what happened before? A hint of sorrow crossed Luna's features, but she pushed it down. Thy concerns are valid, Twilight Sparkle, but surely thou canst see that the situation is different. We are not condemning Equestria to eternal night. We are helping a pony in need. We are certain that the town's ponies will understand. And besides, Luna hovered to the ground sheepishly. We would also like to have some more fun. Toy smiled. All right, Princess. I understand. Now, everybody else, who's ready to rescue Rarity? The assembled group let out a mighty cheer, as a small, terrified squeak. Okay, let's do this. You know, something doesn't feel right. I'm doing a Nightmare Before Christmas story, and it doesn't still feel like I set it up. I need something. Anonymous commenter, you've just given me an idea. Everybody, saying the words if you know them. Mares and colts of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and feel the fright in our town of Nightmare Night. This is Nightmare Night, this is Nightmare Night. Apples scream in the dead of night. This is Nightmare Night, every pony hide and fright. Trick or treat till Fluttershy's gonna die of fright. It's our town, every pony sight in our town of Nightmare Night. I'm the one hiding under your bed, whose crown's sharp and eyes glowing red. I'm the one hiding under your stairs, tail like snakes and spiders everywhere. This is Nightmare Night, this is Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Now. In this town we call home, everybody hail to the pumpkin song. In this town, don't we love it now? Every pony's waiting for the next surprise. Round that corner, hiding by the biker shop, some pony's waiting, gonna let out and you're ready. This is Nightmare Night, all ponies gonna die of fright. Aren't you scared? Well, that's just fine. See the signs, read a book, take a chance and take a look. Face Nightmare Moon in eternal night. Every pony scream, parody for Halloween. I am the colt with the tearaway face, flap my wings and I'm gone without a trace. I am the mare who's not quite sane. I am the wind blowing through your mane. We are the shadow on the moon tonight, filling you fools to the brim with fright. This is Nightmare Night, this is Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night. Frightened stallion, fool and mare, life's no fun without a good scare. Soon this parody will end, it will be normal again in this town. Don't we love it now? Every pony's waiting for the next surprise. Oh, Applejack might catch you out in the back and scream like a cockatrice, make you jump out of your coat. This is Nightmare Night, every pony scream. Would you please make way for a very special mare? Applejack here is queen of the apple field. Every pony hail to the apple queen. Now, this is Nightmare Night, this is Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night, Nightmare Night. There. Now, it's a proper Nightmare Before Christmas story.